So, welcome everyone to our Soul Power session for this month with the theme of taking inspired action. Louise Charman-James from Soul Signature with you. Welcome everyone. Most of you have already been on these calls. Let's take a moment just to drop in and ground and connect, and then we'll move into our clearings for today, our channeled message. And of course, you can use the chat to share with me what's coming up for you so we can go a little bit deeper with this theme and whatever might be coming up in resistance for us in regard to that, taking inspired action. So just inviting you to take a moment to drop in, someone just joining, just taking a few breaths, closing your eyes, just allowing yourself to come fully present for our call today. Welcome if you're just joining, just about to drop in and just get present for our call. So just taking a breath, feeling your feet on the floor, and just letting go of your day so far, even if it's just started. Just coming fully present for our call and really inviting in your own higher self and feeling our collective higher selves, that wisdom, that guidance of and our deepest soul essence to guide our call today to be in the highest for all of us today, so that we can receive each of us what we need, but also that as we receive the clearings, we're also really empowering the collective as well by doing that clearing for ourselves. So taking a moment just to feel into your heart, and particularly feeling into your heart around our topic today of taking inspired action, which of course means, that we actually need to feel into our deeper inspirations. What are we going to take action on? Or what is it that really is calling to our hearts? And that perhaps we keep just pushing aside, that maybe we get caught up in busyness and other things. I heard a beautiful quote the other day that, the path to our greatest goals is not so much limited by obstacles, but by the path to a lesser goal. So often that we're actually using our energy and taking action on things that actually aren't the most important things to us, that aren't our highest inspiration. So I thought that was really interesting. It's not necessarily that there are blocks. It's just that we direct our energy into the wrong things, or not the wrong things necessarily, but the things that aren't really what we say we want. So we're going to do some clearings today based on what you've shared when you registered, and that will help all of us. We're going to be using the spoken word compassion key modality, where we give ourselves, and really we're giving parts of ourselves that are holding these fears and doubts and past conditioning, we're giving them compassion, dissolving those fears and those doubts by giving ourselves that loving presence. Just create some space just to name these fears, just to name what our experience is, and just opens up some space for possibility that we can take action on our greatest dreams. And towards the end of the call, I'll be offering a light language activation and letting you know how you can get a little bit more support from me if that feels right for you. So I'm going to begin, as I usually do, by sharing the channeled message, which I was bringing through this morning on the theme. I really enjoy just tuning in and then seeing what comes through. So I'm going to read this. I invite you to just allow yourself to really be in a receptive space as you listen, and perhaps to notice what arises for you, and feel free to share in the chat your responses. Okay. Inspirations arise within you as your soul and spirit feel what is possible in your life and in the world. Inspired action is simply what you do to manifest that impulse into reality. When you wake up in the morning, you have a whole new day to create with. If you take a moment to tap into your inspirations for yourself and your life, you will naturally feel the pull to get up, to move, greet the day, and start playing with your own creative power by taking inspired action towards what your heart desires most. Now, there are many actions that you take that may not feel particularly inspired to you. Habitual actions such as brushing your teeth or things you do out of necessity, such as shopping for food or collecting your children from school. We wish to focus today on those actions that move you towards greater possibilities for your life, as these are the actions you are most afraid of. Essentially, the resistance you experience to taking inspired action is rooted in a few core emotions and states of being. Some of you are simply not allowing yourself to truly feel and listen to your own inspirations. You stagnate in confusion and procrastination because you won't allow yourself to clearly feel, know, and name the inspirations that your soul is bringing through for you. You're afraid to heed your own inspirations because you're afraid either that you won't have the power to make them real, or that you do have the power to make them real, and bad things might happen if you let them loose in the world of form. These perceived bad things may include displeasing or even hurting others, who may then judge you, reject you, or even punish you, drawing uncomfortable attention to yourself, losing control of what you brought into being, or experiencing disappointment that your inspiration may not be realized in the way you hoped it would. These feelings and fears keep you in reaction rather than inspired action. Reaction is action prompted from past conditioning. It is not action that moves you into greater possibility. It is informed by what has already happened rather than what could be. In contrast, inspired action is action that pulls you into future potential timelines, into expansion and a new experience of yourself and the world. Feeling a little nervous when you take an inspired action can be a good thing, because then you know you're at your growth edge. You're stretching into a new possibility for yourself. And that reach into unknown territory can be both exciting and a little scary. Ultimately, it makes you feel alive, and your soul delights in that experience of pushing the boundaries of what has been possible for you up until this moment. You've all heard the phrase, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. Our invitation to you is to open to the inspirations that want to flow through your heart and your being, and to play with the possibilities of manifesting them through the excitement of taking inspired action every day. You are powerful creators, and you have the power to make good, inspired choices for yourselves, your communities, and your planet. Practice listening to your inspirations instead of dismissing them as impossible or dangerous. Honor them by practicing small inspired actions every day, which will then organically lead you to take more inspired action. Let the energy of inspiration lift you out of stagnation, repetition, and avoidance. Delight in what is possible and direct your energy to make it real. And when you do, you will inspire others to do the same. And this is how you will co-create a world that inspires and delights you every day of your life. Okay, so let's just take a breath to integrate that message. And feel free to share in the chat anything that came up for you while you were listening. What did you resonate with? What did you feel perhaps a little pulse of resistance to? Where did you recognize maybe some of those emotions, feelings, fears that are coming up for you? So what I want to do today is I want to work with a diagnostic phrase, which I often do when we're using the compassion key. So I'm going to pop that in the chat. And the phrase that we're going to use today, and I'm going to get you to say this out loud, is, it's easy for me to take inspired action every day. So I want you to say that out loud. You're all on mute, so no one's going to hear you, but I want you to hear you. I want you to invite your whole body to respond to when you say that phrase. It's easy for me to take inspired action every day. What do you notice? Does your heart feel open with that? Does your heart contract? How do you feel? And how true does that feel for you? That's really what we're looking for. Your mind might want to say, yes, I take inspired action every day, but your body, your heart might be in resistance to that. So a few messages sharing resonant. Alison saying the message was inspiring. Chantel saying in alignment with unfolding happening for me. Great. So share in the chat, yeah, any response to that, and also rate that phrase out of 10, where 10 out of 10 would be, yes, absolutely. It feels absolutely true in my being, my heart, my mind, my body, that it's easy for me to take inspired action every day. And give it a number. Yeah. So 10 out of 10 would be yes, completely, 100%. 1 out of 10 would be no, not at all. And most of you are going to be somewhere in between. So share your rating in the chat, and also maybe share what are you noticing already, perhaps that's there in resistance. So I'm actually feeling really good about this phrase right now because I have been getting into a lot of action this week, but I can look back and see times when I just wasn't in inspired action at all. And, you know, it's an uncomfortable place to be with when you know that, you know that you want to move forward, something you want to create, but you just know you're not really taking the steps that are going to get you in. So, okay, yeah, feeling a bit low today. Everything feels a bit hard. It's a 5. Okay. 6, actions don't always follow the thoughts. Yep, we're doing some clearing on that. Time is my resistance, or the lack of allowing the time. Yep. So where do we not maybe have the structures in place for that? Sadness, my whole inner being belief is set to reject or deny regardless of my wanting to move forward. Okay, so parts of us are conditioned to resist that. So that's from past experiences, where we may just feel a sense of hopelessness perhaps, or that could ever happen. And so we start not backing ourselves. Maybe others have not supported us. Maybe we've taken actions that felt inspired to us. It hasn't inspired others, or maybe things have happened. So that's what we're going to be working with today. Okay. Yeah. Opening to the deep truth that you are light. Yeah. Beautiful and divine. Yes. So we have that. That is the truth of our nature. We are creative beings. We have the power to create a lot of beauty and wonder and abundance and beautiful things for ourselves and for others, but we don't do it. And that's what we're interested in exploring today. Okay, so keep sharing your ratings in the chat, sharing anything that comes up in resistance. And I'm going to start by taking you through some compassion key clearing phrases based on what's been shared already and some inspirations from myself. And so how we do this is I'm going to say the phrase out loud. You are going to say it out loud to yourself. So they're all going to begin with, I'm so sorry. And then we'll be saying you. And when you say you are talking to yourself, and really to those parts of you that have got disconnected from the truth of yourself as a creative being, right? That have got stuck in the past experiences, subjective responses, have formed beliefs, limiting beliefs. Yeah. All right. Oh, yeah, time. Another person sharing time. So many things. Where do I start? Well, yeah, small steps. I'm very much into the small steps, the small inspired actions, which then build, as it said in the channeling, they then build, and you start to flex that muscle. And it really is, the thing about being creators in this physical world is we get to experiment with what it feels like to take action in this realm and then see a result, right? And of course, we get very scared about that, creating a result. I've had a lot of people say to me, oh, but then that makes it real. If I take action, it will make it real. And then that feels scary because we don't have control over it. It's, it can be seen, we can be seen, all of that. But there's such a joy and a pleasure in taking action here and actually then seeing that result. And by the end of this call, I hope you're a little bit more tapped into the joy of that. Yeah, overwhelm. Okay. Yeah, overwhelm, oversensitivity, it can be hard. All right, so let's just start with a batch of phrases. We're going to do them in little batches, check in with you as we go, share in the chat anything extra that comes up for you as we're doing the phrases. So let's start just by really acknowledging that we don't always listen and that we don't always take that inspired action. All right, so deep breath into your heart and solar plexus, saying the phrases out loud after me. I'm so sorry you don't listen to your heart. I'm so sorry you don't listen to your intuitive nudges. I'm so sorry you don't let your heart guide you into action. I'm so sorry your mind gets in the way. I'm so sorry you overthink everything. I'm so sorry you're torn between your heart and your mind. I'm so sorry you're out of alignment. I'm so sorry you're not doing what you're called to do. I'm so sorry you're not bringing your dreams to life. I'm so sorry you don't act on your ideas and inspirations. I'm so sorry you don't do what you need to do to get where you want to go. I'm so sorry you keep doing the same stuff. I'm so sorry your heart's passions and desires don't flow into inspired actions. I'm so sorry excitement turns to fear. I'm so sorry inspiration turns to doubt. I'm so sorry your fears and doubts suffocate your passions and desires. I'm so sorry you get frustrated with yourself. I'm so sorry you get angry with yourself. I'm so sorry you're disappointed. I'm so sorry you're sad. Okay, so that's our first batch. So just sharing if anything's coming up for you. Feel free to share that. Any responses to those that any particularly resonate? I'm going to do some more in a moment. Okay, so those were, resonating. So Chantal. So that was really about naming the situation and feelings around that. So let's do a few more around maybe self-sabotage and what happens maybe when we take action and maybe our being doesn't really feel in alignment with that. So let's do some more phrases. Again, taking a deep breath into your heart and solar plexus, saying the phrases out loud after me. I'm so sorry you run out of energy. I'm so sorry you run out of steam. I'm so sorry when you take inspired action, it exhausts you. I'm so sorry taking inspired action takes everything out of you. I'm so sorry you have periods of inspired action followed by periods of fatigue. I'm so sorry you can't find the perfect balance of action and rest. I'm so sorry you focus on obstacles instead of actions. I'm so sorry old conditioning overrides your impulse for action. I'm so sorry you feel tired. I'm so sorry you feel discouraged. I'm so sorry you feel demotivated. I'm so sorry you sabotage yourself. I'm so sorry a part of you won't allow you to take inspired action. I'm so sorry you punish yourself for moving towards your dreams. I'm so sorry you're not allowed to move towards your dreams. So just taking a breath there. So often what happens when we start getting into action towards what we really want is that we trigger a kind of thermostat setting that we've got used to in our lives because perhaps other people didn't support us, or it just wasn't the way things were done in your family, or you just had to learn to appease other people and follow their agenda, right? So sometimes we've got really set at that calibration. When we take an inspired action to move towards something we really want, there's this kind of elastic band pulling us back, that's not, our being is not calibrated for that. And so that's where we start to sabotage ourselves. So those phrases around not allowing ourselves, there's a deeply buried part of us. It's just like, hey, that doesn't happen for us. We don't get to have what we want, right? That's what you might have learned. You might have taken that on, right, through your family. That doesn't happen. So by doing these phrases, by naming these, we're starting to recalibrate ourselves so that we can actually move to a little bit of a higher level. We can hold the energy that it is a habit that we take inspired action. And that phrase, right? It's easy for me to take inspired action every day. Now that's a new place of being, right? There will be parts of you that don't feel like that are not calibrated for that. And that's where the sabotage comes in. You stretch yourself, and then that old conditioning pulls you back down to where you were. So we have to be really aware of that and curious. I'm going to really invite you to be curious about that, because what I love about this modality too is that we get to really meet with compassion because we are curious and kind, that if something isn't happening, if we are getting in our own way, if we aren't taking actions, there is a part of us that doesn't feel safe to do that. There is a part of us that has a belief that things can't be that way, right? So we get to be curious, we get to dive in, and that's why I get you to share what's coming up for you around these topics, because it's very helpful for all of us. So yeah, Narelle saying those resonated a lot. Chantel, massive. Dynamite, breaking up the old. Yeah, Alison sharing being disappointed and angry with myself and hurting ourselves, right? So yeah, we do this, right? So we know we're almost programmed to not back ourselves, really, because we just haven't had that experience of that. We haven't had that reinforced. We haven't been celebrated when we've moved towards what we want. So we have to learn to do this. We have to learn to reprogram ourselves, which we can do using these beautiful clearing tools. So we've named a bit of self-sabotage, talked about what we don't do, that we don't listen, we don't act. Okay, let's do a few phrases around the fear of the consequences, that if we take the action, things are going to happen that are going to be out of our control, or things are going to happen to us, or other people are going to respond to us in a certain way, right? So we'll do some phrases around that. Again, feel free to share in the chat anything else that arises for you as we say these phrases. Okay. Once again, taking a deep breath into your heart and solar plexus, speaking the phrases aloud to yourself. I'm so sorry. You're terrified of making mistakes. I'm so sorry. You're afraid if you take action, you won't get it right. I'm so sorry. You're afraid It will involve other people. I'm so sorry you're afraid it won't be acceptable to them. I'm so sorry you're afraid it won't be enough. I'm so sorry you're afraid you won't be enough. I'm so sorry you're scared you'll draw attention to yourself. I'm so sorry you're afraid to stand out from the crowd. I'm so sorry you'll be criticized. I'm so sorry you might be rejected. I'm so sorry you need their validation more than your own. I'm so sorry that validation matters more than inspiration. I'm so sorry you've got it wrong in the past. I'm so sorry your actions didn't always work out for the best. I'm so sorry it's safer to play it safe. I'm so sorry it's safer to do nothing. I'm so sorry inspired actions don't always make sense to others. I'm so sorry inspired actions don't always make sense to you. I'm so sorry taking inspired action feels challenging. I'm so sorry taking inspired action feels scary. I'm so sorry you avoid the challenging things. I'm so sorry you choose security over growth. I'm so sorry you get stuck in the status quo. I'm so sorry you avoid short-term pain, but end up with long-term pain. I'm so sorry that in trying to avoid suffering, you actually suffer more. Okay, so let's take a breath there. Any responses to that? It's so interesting to me how we respond, this perception that there's going to be suffering if I do something, and yet we haven't really done is tuned into really what the rewards are from doing that thing and what the actual impact on us, the longer term suffering is if we don't take that inspired action. I know for myself, there are many things which, I feel like if I get to the end of my life and I haven't taken action on those things, like that will create a lot of suffering for me. That's how I feel. Like sometimes it's good to do the kind of deathbed view, kind of go, if I get to the end of my life and I haven't taken action on that, we're going to feel, we also want to be compassionate and we let ourselves off the hook a little bit. At the same time, like you can't let yourself off the hook from your own kind of soul desires, right? Your own inner knowing, which we all have, and that's what we're kind of feeling into the inspirations, right? You can't kind of let yourself off the hook from them because you're always going to know, right, deep down. And that's what we're really in the process of. We don't want you to feel that you cheated yourself, right, when you get to the end of this life, right? You're in this realm. Yeah, okay. So some sharing here. Okay. Upsetting to impose that I'm not enough on myself, says Alison. Yeah, I'm actually quite mean to myself. Oh, yes, we so are. I'm so sorry you're mean to yourself. Yeah, right. Often we're our harshest judge and critic, but we've maybe learned to do that, right? Yeah, be nicer to yourself. Yes, I sometimes find it hard to stop myself from what will they think of me. Yeah, Nancy, that's, yeah, there's definitely this fear of judgment, you know, which again, we've learned to kind of internalize that. So well, people are kind of bouncing on and off the call today, so obviously some internet stuff going on. Okay, just want to make sure people are muted again when they pop back on. Okay. Yes, so yeah, the fear of what others will think of us. But, you know, again, I'm going to invite you to come back to but what will I think of me? How will I feel about myself? You know, really at the end of the day, everyone else is feeling the same thing. Like, this is a good thing to remember. You're walking around worrying what they're going to think of you, and they're walking around worrying what you're going to think of them, right? So just to remind yourself of that sometimes, like everyone's lost in their own kind of perception that everyone else is going to judge them. So we want to counteract that by really getting excited about what we want and inspiring, and really owning that we have the power to create that. It's really standing in that place of creator. And I've got a couple of phrases here that were just at the end of that section. And one of them is, I'm so sorry you forgot to be the master creator in your own life. Let's all say that one. Yeah. Okay, and I've got just a few more phrases which are now more kind of like why about not having the positive experience of taking inspired action. Because, you know, I know from my own personal experience, having been, you know, a great dreamer and avoider of action, that when I did finally take action towards my dreams, it was so satisfying to see those results. And feel free to share if you've had that experience too, where you actually took a step right towards something you really wanted, and it actually worked out, and you had a really good experience of that. So yeah, feel free to share if you've had that lived experience, because sometimes we forget that we have, right? Even if it's something super small, right? A few more shares. Yeah, long-term suffering can become familiar and hard to leave. Again, that's that calibration I was talking about. We can get calibrated to suffering. We can get calibrated to self-abandonment. It can become habitual. And so we, you know, this is why kind of this taking a small step every day to kind of counteract that, doing the work to meet those, you know, being aware of those, right? Oh, wow. Okay. Maybe I'm calibrated to abandon myself, right? Maybe I'm calibrated to suffering. And often perhaps that could have been how it was in your family, right? But then stepping into, okay, well, do I want to recalibrate that now? Do I want to calibrate myself to actually life being easeful and exciting, and that I get to back myself, right? There's a choice there. Okay. So choosing that, taking some time every day. What do I really want? Right? What is my bigger inspiration? What would be some small step today towards that? Yeah, Alison saying, I forget to stop and celebrate my achievements. This is so important as well. Like really being in the, what have I already achieved? What can I already celebrate? What inspired actions have I already taken? Okay, Chantel saying, I manifested fixing the TV with my mind. Beautiful. Gave me confidence in my ability to command miracles more often. Yeah, right. So just the small things, you know, honestly, even finding a parking space, right? Just really going, I have no problems with parking spaces now at all. It's just something I've mastered, you know, because I'm no longer looking for nowhere to park. I'm looking for somewhere to park. Okay. Yeah. 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 Chantal said, yeah, 50 years of being in that pattern of suffering, because it can become a way of being in your family. This is something I noticed a lot for me with mothering. Oh, I'm going into that martyr thing again where I'm doing everything because that's just what I grew up with. And no, I'm going to stop that now, take a different action, right? Okay, big manifestation. Oh, I love that. Yes, I love that. Nancy saying, I receive inspiration from workshop participants that what I do is worthwhile. Yep. So we get that feedback, and it's good for us to reinforce that feedback, to really take a moment to go, you know what? I am appreciated. I am valuable. What I do is valuable, because our minds are always going to go to where's the problem? Where's the negative? Where's the obstacle? That's what your ego mind is attuned to. It's looking for the threat. So we have to work to counteract that. And part of that is really looking at, where have I already got into action? What have I already created, right? Where do I really see that I am a creator? I do take inspired action. Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I deserve to enjoy this body experience. Yeah. So I'm just going to do a last few phrases, and then I'd love for everyone to check in with the phrase. We'll say the phrase again. Yeah, Alison saying, trust the inspired action. Yeah. Maybe we'll just say a phrase around that, I'm so sorry you don't trust your inspired action. And even before that is, I'm so sorry you don't trust your inspiration. So it's great to have these awarenesses, to just look at what's underneath. What is it that's going on for me? Oh, I don't even trust, I have these inspirations. I don't even trust that they can become real. Maybe you don't even believe that they can become real, right? So noticing that, right? Noticing that, giving yourself compassion. So let's just do another batch of phrases. These one are just a few here around the experience that we could possibly have. And let's give ourselves some compassion for not having that, not doing it. Okay, deep breath into your heart and solar plexus. I'm so sorry you can't just create from your heart. I'm so sorry you can't just play and explore. I'm so sorry you can't just please yourself. I'm so sorry it can't just be joyful and fun. I'm so sorry it can't just be easy. And this is a nice one shared from one of the people who registered. I'm so sorry you can't just flow with the evolutionary impulse of life. I'm so sorry you can't let life create through you with ease and grace. So, of course, we're saying these in the negative because they're what a part of us believes, right? So when we say them and we name them, we're not saying these are truth, but we're naming them, bringing them out into the open, so that hopefully a part of your being goes, well, hang on a minute. Maybe I can just create from my heart. Maybe I can play and explore. Maybe it can be joyful and fun, right? We get so locked into the fear and the doubt that we actually forget that there's another opportunity here. So feel free to share in the chat any responses to that. And maybe you've got some other phrases there. How would you like it to be? Like, what would that look and feel like? Let's try the phrase again. I'm going to pop it in the chat. And I'd love you to say it out loud and see if anything has shifted for you. It's easy for me to take inspired action every day. So maybe share if your numbers changed as well. Just share what it went from to what it went from. We had some 5s and 6s earlier on. See if that feels a little more true for you. It's easy for me to take inspired action every day. Like, that feels quite good for me. That sits quite well in my being. How is that sitting for you? And if you're still noticing some resistance, see if you can identify what that is. You might even want to kind of prod yourself a little bit by saying, it's not easy for me to take inspired action because why? Let your subconscious respond to that phrase, right? Okay, great. Nancy's gone from a 6 to an 8. Beautiful. So what would it take to get that from an 8 to a 10, right? Have a little look. What else is there, right? What else is there? And play with that. Maybe it's not easy for me to take inspired action because what is it? And you might notice some of those earlier reasons. I don't have enough time. It's too hard. Other people take up too much of my time. I have to please everyone else before myself, right? These are just beliefs, right? But you'll get to flush out what they are. You need to flush out what they are because they're keeping you calibrated at a lower possibility, right? keeping you stuck on a timeline where you're not taking that action, you're not getting the results that you want. So it's easy for me to take inspired action every day. Any other ratings? What are you noticing? Does it feel better in your body? Lovely. Alison sharing, I want to enjoy my inspired action. I'm focused on achieving goals and I forget to enjoy the pleasure of it. Entering into the joy, 5 to 8 now. Great. Yeah. Right. And when we feel into pleasure and joy, like notice what that does to your heart. Notice what that does to your body, right? There's a lightness there. It's no longer feeling this like I've got to do this thing, right? That's not actually inspired action, right? When we get, and this is why I'm inviting you to get, and as we said, had in that message, like to get in touch with the inspirations. And gratitude's a great way to do that. What's already working? When you wake up in the morning, what's already working? What have I already achieved, right? Where am I really rocking it already? And then getting excited about, well, I've already done that, right? So therefore, there's a whole lot of other things that I could get into inspired action around it. I could get some great results and I'm going to play with it. I'm going to get excited about it. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm going to be playful and joyful with it. I'm going to take that pressure off, right? This perception that there's the jury out there waiting to judge us, that they're, waiting to punish us, waiting to bring us down, right? It's all old conditioning. It really is, right? We live in a resonant universe, vibrational universe. We're only ever experiencing what we're putting out there, right? And if we're putting out there that, it's not okay for me to have what I want, that other people have more priority, that I don't have enough time, right? We're going to just keep experiencing that as well. Okay. All right. So we're getting nearer to the end. So just give me a little bit more space and time for anyone else to share. Is there anything else that we haven't covered today that's been coming up for you around action? And so let's actually make this really specific, because action is specific. I want all of you to tune into right now. What's an action? What's an inspiration that you've got? What would be a small action step towards it? Why are you not taking it? What needs to happen next? So I'm tuning into, for example, I've been wanting to record more light language songs. I've done a little bit, then I didn't edit them. Then I'm like, I haven't taken that next step, which is just, okay, I need to just find the place to record them. I need a sound studio that's just, or even just a place that's soundproof. Not this place I'm in is not that, right? It's a little step and I haven't done it, right? And so I've had to do some self-inquiry around that. Okay, where am I just like, what am I afraid of? Why am I not investing in that, right? Just not making the time. So, carving out some time and space, making it fun again. What if? How much fun could it be if, right? So think about something that you want to take action on right now. Share it if you want to. Okay, like Shini's saying, doubting self, but 9. Okay, so at a 9, that's great, but still a little bit of self-doubt. So maybe drilling in a little bit more. What is it that I'm really doubting myself about, right? I'm doubting that I can, right? Be willing to drill a little deeper. Okay, I'll look into that. All right, so to share those actions, I've just shared something with you. So my specific small step action, inspired action would be just I could even write a post and say, hey, does anyone recommend a great sound engineer or sound studio? I know I actually already have done this and have recommendations. So my next step would be to call that person, just find out what are the costs, when are they available, where would this be? Then I'd schedule some time, right? And then I can already feel, even by talking about that I'll start to feel really good about that because I'm actually making it real and making it happen, right? You're all being very quiet now. Come on, surely someone has an inspired action. And just really feel down what would be the smallest step, right? It might be making a phone call. It might be sending an email, right? Tapping into how good is it going to feel when that's happening? Great, beautiful. Nancy, asking my colleague to show me how to make creative Facebook stories. Getting help, getting support is fantastic. Alison, my website, I'm resisting creating it. Right. Selling my sessions on there will make it real. What if I don't meet my own high expectations, right? The making it real thing, right? Action makes things real. We can often be so terrified of make it real. I know I was like this. Start writing for a book. Yeah, beautiful. And I know you're also fantastic at drawing. I hope that book's going to have illustrations in there. Okay. Being appropriate for another, says Lakshini. There's doubt around that. Okay. So this, again, appropriate. What does that mean? When were you not appropriate? right? What is it? That's a judgment from someone else. That's a standard someone else is setting that you've internalized. Okay, so we get to really look at this. Okay, what's really sitting there? Great. So I'm going over coaching notes from earlier this week. So I'm aligned and aware in direction and steps. Beautiful. Love that. Okay. We're going to trigger others. We are going to trigger others. And, you know, when you get into action, you are going to trigger other people because they're going to realize where they're not in action, right? And people don't want that, right? So understanding too that when other people get triggered, when other people project on you, when other people judge you, it is their own wounding that is determining that reaction. It's actually not you, it's them. It's all the wounded parts of them that you're going to trigger. Okay, so yeah, getting comfortable with ourselves, everyone else just reflecting. That's right, reflecting back. So being willing actually to maybe ruffle some feathers by following, you know, your own inspiration, right? You know, we're all stuck in the status quo where pretty much nobody's happy. Let's be honest, you know. Trusting discernment, says Lakshmi. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, trusting that discernment, trusting that intuition. Yeah. And you know, when you feel into the people that inspire you, they're probably not the people who are doing the same things as everyone else, are they? Really? So no. Exactly. So yeah, getting a little bit brave. That's exactly right. People dropping off the call again. All right, getting a little bit brave. Okay, I love that, Alison. I feel pride in this group right now. Yes, exactly. Just you being here, right? The action that you took to register for the call, to show up for the call, to do the work, right? That is inspired action. You know, me taking the action to offer the call, right? To make the difference. I love it, you know, and I love having all of us together doing this work so that we can actually go out and, you know, we're not going to create a better world if we're hiding out, not taking any kind of inspired action. Yeah, we're doing it together. All right, I can feel the kind of energy building to move into our activation. So I'm going to do a little light language activation. Maybe share in the chat, what do you want to bring? You know, that's going to amplify us, amplify our intention, bring through some powerful frequencies to support us, maybe a little bit more guidance. So yeah, feel free to share what you really want out of this. Like, how do you want to feel? I'm really going to call for this to help activate us, to make inspired action feel easy, feel joyful, feel natural, that it's actually our natural state of being, that we feel inspirations and we just take action, that we bypass that judgment, doubt, that's not there anymore. So removing those veils of doubt, I'm setting the intention for that, really tapping into our natural ability to take action on what really matters to us, what inspires us, and feeling that sense that inspiration is like you know, it's source energy wanting to express through us. So actually getting ourselves out of the way, getting all of those parts of ourselves out of the way, so that energy that is natural, you are natural source energy, natural creative energy, can just come through you easily, gracefully, you know, where everything that needs to happen just flows through. Stop second guessing myself, says Nancy. Yes, trust my ability. So let's call for an activation to really help us to let go of those doubts and fears, just really open up to being directly connected where the inspiration comes. The next action is instantly obvious to us. We take it, we experience that result, we get to the next action, and we just keep in that flow. So yeah, natural flow, heart actions, says Alison. All right, so let's take a moment to really open our hearts to receive this. Just, you know, we're just really calling forth frequencies that are ourselves as well, right? And we're not really calling for anything outside ourselves. We're just calling for more of that energy to activate within us at the deepest level of our being. And as it does so, you know, each of you get to just unpack that and use that energy, use those frequencies to empower yourself in whatever way feels right for you now. So everyone just taking a deep breath into your heart, opening to receive, just intending that you receive what you need right now for you to make inspired action just a natural part of your life and your experience in this physical realm. He hamanara to ni soro masheli indana kar ke telechile mosamo ki auronoti. La sadaniro chon masiki arota le kapatsumani chiporota no wa ayala tiki ki ana are sete. Ci si morore ni ila na nakata mo sakai che ile kotono me ia kwa at ile. Sato ma shibru ma e te mana sokode chile ataru kuma asit jimona at ilo no or ma ayati. Sato ke shimara ko le ke damata ru kuma si da bot sa et or na ate semere ki ro awen. Tachi na ma ayasati ki mara to. Chase moro ki alo ko te shimara o ni le ma ato iki. Rasano ki chile ma ua ma iket ariket ale. Sana shole ma alamo kore I maratata ya kasata te chene moro at erupo ka aina matele kono shere mor dat ela kat achlene se shimara more ni I masa kore mantor elate te masokiate rashono mara mora aina te ki late somora ki cherkum as oilete. So just taking a deep breath into your heart. And what I saw happening there was that all of the people who have judged you and limited you and are sitting kind of in this space within you, they were all being like commanded to leave. So all of those people who just, like just weren't supporting you, judged you, restricted you, even if they loved you and they thought that was the best thing to do, they're leaving you now, right? Then the space in your heart, the space within you is free now for more of your creative energy and ideas and inspirations to take up space and then flow out of your being into the world. So that was, really the main thing they were showing me there was just this kind of just opening a door and going, you get to leave now. Like all of that. And, that's the people who have judged you and also the aspects of yourself that just can't let go of that. Well, then we're sending them back to the light now, right? We don't need them to be in our operating system anymore. Right now, we are creating space for inspiration to flow through us, to be expressed with ease, with grace, and also really inviting, if you want to invite anyone into that space, invite in the people who want to play in that space. Invite in the other co-creators, the other people who are inspired and in inspired action, right? Feeling that tribe that celebrates you getting into inspired action, helps you to get into inspired action, is taking inspired action themselves, right? Let those be the people that you let into your heart, that you let into your reality. Yeah, like Shani says, being in fun and play. Absolutely. And I want to add to this, right, that really this is so important to surround yourself with other people who are in inspired action, because we do entrain to one another, right? And you are influenced not only by the people you spend most time with, but by the people that they spend more time with, right? That flows through to you. So if you're with people who are with, they might be okay with you, but maybe they're hanging out with people who are negative, with people who are in victimhood, with people who are whining, right? That's going to filter through. So be really aware, like be really conscious of what you're filling yourself with the people you're letting influence you, with the thoughts that you're letting in, with the inputs. We get together here, we can get each other. We're in training already to a place of inspiration and inspired action, right? You can feel the difference from the start of the call to now, right? So that's an experience you can have every day, right? So we have to be really discerning. Someone was talking about discernment. I think it was Lakshmi, trusting the discernment. Beautiful. And I was saying she feels lighter. I love that. Shay, if your numbers changed, maybe check in again with that phrase. It's easy for me to take inspired action every day. It's natural for me to take inspired action every day. I'm grateful that I take inspired action every day, right? When that feels really clear and true, we can make it a gratitude statement. Now, I'm going to say one more thing to all of you. Many of you have said, yes, I would love to have a session with you, Louise. And then none of you have booked in. Maybe one or two of you have. So that is an inspired action. When I send out the replay, I'm going to send you a link to book in. And I want to see you book in, okay? And you're all laughing, all right? But it's so true, okay? I also had one from somebody saying, oh, I've had one already. Maybe I can't have another one. Honestly, it's like, I'm here to talk to you. And if I don't talk to you, I don't know what's going on for you. And if I don't know what's going on for you, I can't help you. And I love to help you, right? So I really want you to take that action to book a call with me. In fact, I'm even going to put a link in the chat right now for you to have a little call with me, okay? Book that call, okay? And I'm also going to share with you, I am starting up my big year group program. It's a big program, but it's not a big cost for that program. And it is about being in a group of people who want to evolve, who want to thrive, who want to be in inspired action, okay? And I'm telling you, it's hard when you're not surrounded by the people that want to do that, okay? We live in a culture of victimhood. You only have to watch what's on the telly, right? They don't want to help you to be your best self. So yeah, I mean, says Alison, you know, it's like, it's so, you know, as women particularly, you know, just really supporting each other. Women are so great at doing this. You know, ran a retreat a couple of weeks ago. As soon as you get women in the room together, right? They care for each other, they open up, they share, like everyone benefits. It's really great. So, you know, we have to start doing different things. If you keep, like I said in the message, keep doing the same thing. And some of that can be, I'll just be in isolation. I'll muddle through on my own, right? Not letting ourselves have support, right? We're not going to make that shift. We evolve much faster together. We're moving into a time of co-creation, unity, collaboration, harmony, right? It's the age of Aquarius, right? It's not about being in isolation anymore. And it's not about having to do it all on your own. It's making it easy. We want to make it easy, and it's easier together, most definitely. All right, Shana, I'm getting focused on the thing I have to do, and the universe is taking care of the rest. Beautiful. Yes. But the universe takes care of it when you send a clear signal to the universe. This is what I want. And taking inspired action is super clear. And you know, and this is how synchronicities work. You take an action, you move into the direction of your dreams, and everything aligns to help you, right? And if you're not having that experience, then have another look. What's in the way? Something's muddying that, right? Maybe it's recalibrating. Beautiful. Yeah, thanks, Lakshmi. Thanks, everybody. All right, I'm getting overexcited to calm down, but I'm passionate about this. And really, you know, I've just had this experience so much myself. You know, when you really take the time to get tuned in, and then you take the time to take those actions, and you start to get that experience, you build momentum. It's exciting, and it's such a service to everyone else, right? And I know a lot of you are already out there sharing your own particular inspirations, your passions, your gifts, and making a difference, which is great. Thanks, Nancy. Yeah, love your passion, inspiration. Yeah, well, I get inspired when I'm with you, right? I love being with the group, and you amplify me. So thank you. Thanks, everyone. Lovely to have you all here. And thank you to everyone, too, who will be listening on the replay. So I'll be sending out that invitation. I expect to talk to some of you at least. And I'm here to help you. All right, beautiful. Let's just take a moment to maybe just send this inspiration out to everybody as well, that everybody out there can feel into their hearts, can follow their hearts, can take that inspired action, because that's what's going to create a better world. It really is. So thank you, everyone. Go forth, shine your light, take that little action, whatever it is that you were too afraid to share in the chat. Anyway, it's divine feminine, says Nancy. It is really that feminine energy, which is inherently creative, right? You are that creative impulse is naturally in you. And that's why I say it is natural. What is unnatural is for us to hold that back. It is unnatural for us to get in the way. So celebrating all of you. Thank you so much. And yeah, get out of the way. So beautiful. Send the replay this afternoon, and I will see you all next month. And feel free to share any themes that you'd like for us to do these calls on. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of calls I've done already, because we started earlier in the year. But yeah, new themes, whatever's coming up for you, we can work on that together. All right. Lots of love. Have a great day. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Lovelies. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, loves. Bye.